said, it's a very quick stop, because generally to change...
It's about a 20-second change.
Well, it said new tyres. It said new tyres, didn't say necessarily a full set. So, slow zone at zone 1 and 2 and 3. Now, this 14 point whatever kilometre track is broken up into zones. A slow zone, ooh, problems for 13. The Rebellion won't start, and it's in a fast lane almost. A slow zone is where is there a mandatory maximum speed of 80 kilometres an hour. You have a 60k speed limit in the pits, a limiter for that, and the 80k's in the slow zone out on the track, and anybody who infringes on that will be penalised with a stop-go penalty.
Завтра в прямом эфире на Евроспорт 2. Route du Sud. 5-й этап.
Welcome back to Eurosport. We are live here in the Le Mans 24 hours. The time is bang on 8 o'clock here in France, 7 o'clock here in France rather, and of course 6 o'clock for you in UK. Thank you for Martin Haven, Jeremy Shaw and Sam Hancock for the last 2 hours. You've got the new shift in the chair, me, Mark Cole, Damien Faulkner, the unacceptable voice of Irish racing, and Carlton Kirby, the man whose yellow jersey's been left behind this weekend. It's not Tour de France time, it's the world's best race.
I've changed my T-shirt. Oh, sorry, I see what you mean. Well, you go away for a brief break and then all hell breaks loose, it seems. The 51 Ferrari, by the way, a lot of you asking what the problem is. In fact, they're asking themselves. It was an alternator issue, so they've had battery trouble, essentially, and it has cost them dear, Mark.
Again, a car that should be leading the championship this year, last year's champions, and that 51 AF Course Ferrari has had all the bad luck this year, Damien.
Yeah, I mean, when it rains, it pours. It seems that's the way it goes, isn't it? Even at the front, when you look at the Toyotas, it was the one in the second of them, if you like, that had tyre trouble there earlier and had to re-pit again.
One thing we're blessed with is weather, thank heaven. 3 phases of rain, incidentally, were due to come across the course before fine weather would ensue for the rest of the evening. And we've had 3 phases of rain. One of them hit us extremely hard. One of them kind of nudged us just a little bit and gave us a light drizzle. And the other one missed us completely. And so we are clear of it, apparently. So keep your fingers crossed. There are sharp shadows as the sun starts to set. And we're getting to that point now where the lights will dazzle, and indeed the crowd will be thrilled, you can be sure.
Right,
However, we're in a slow zone.
Yeah, we're in that slow zone. We had that big accident just before we changed shifts. Mark Miller putting the American Proton Porsche off, the car that's run by Alex Job Racing. Of course, this is the car that Lee Keane and Mark were going to have to drive two-handedly because of the illness of Cooper McNeil. So that's rather solved that problem in a very, very unfortunate way. Massive damage to that Porsche. Damien, you know all about that. Radiators all at the front of those cars, and
yeah, fortunately I don't know all about damage, but I see where you're going.
Yeah, but you drive. Yeah, I mean, you're a Porsche driver. You know what happens when you do that.
That was it was quite a heavy impact, and we're thinking that he might have gone off in fluid that was dropped by that 91 Porsche. That looked like brake fluid when it exited the pits. To be honest, we spotted it there. That's what we're thinking, speculating at this moment in time. Mark Miller is normally a very safe pair of hands. And so that's what we're...
It was Mark's actually first flying lap. Unfortunately, they just had the driver change. Of course, they were doing very, very long stints from what you were saying a little bit earlier on. That's, I suspect, the dirty line we're seeing being used there.
Yeah, of course, this is a main road when it's not been used for the Le Mans 24-hour, and he took to the hard shoulder there, didn't he?
Yeah, that was Nelson Piquet in the Rebellion there, and of course Nelson making a comeback now in world-class racing after being disgraced at the Singapore Grand Prix. And just looking now at on board the Ford then as we come out of Arnage, and that blast up to Porsche curves, super fast.
Yeah, it's fantastic, lovely on board, brilliant. Just the entry to Porsche curves is just so quick, and it's fantastic when a driver's coming up here and they don't have any traffic. I mean, that traffic in front is just that bit far away, so he doesn't have to impede his speed. He can go around there all guns blazing.
Well, we've got a very special guest coming into the studio, and I'll let Carlton introduce him because he scared the pants off Carlton on Thursday night. And
yes, this is the man who's responsible for several changes of underwear, I can tell you. Made me squeak going round this circuit, but I was in safe hands because he's dominated, of course, this circuit on 9 separate occasions. Tom Christensen, an absolute pleasure to welcome to my world.
Thank you.
Was he a good passenger, Tom?
Oh, to be honest, he was. Very, very good passenger.
Yeah. You didn't have to clean the car afterwards, or?
No, no, he was very quiet, and that is exactly what you need of a passenger in that sense. But it was a bit. We had some cars after we were supposed to help instructing. They didn't follow exactly the rules, but they were told not to overtake me, and that's a privilege you have. Being working with Audi after a long career driving for them.
Tom, two-car strategy imposed upon the teams here, Audi, Porsche, of course, and Toyota, and it proves the difficulties that have been had today, that there's not much slack out there. It's very, very difficult to kind of make amends for problems which you're bound to get in a 24-hour race.
Yeah, it hits very hard when basically when you're leading and it happens so early in the race. For sure, it's a tough setback, and that is the swallowing of that is seems to be
Tracy Crone, surprise.
Well, it's Tracy that's just losing a hand at the moment. We've seen a few other drivers as well. The sun, as you can tell as well, even from our commentary position here, Tom, is getting to that point now where it's starting to annoy.
Yeah, not quite the drivers yet, but it will be a little bit later when it comes straight in there. It's the reflection on the top of the sun screens. It's a bit later. The sun has to be a bit lower, but certainly it will be annoying going into the dusk, into the night. And also at the sunrise tomorrow. There's no doubt, 2 different points, but it's annoying when you suddenly go blind for a few seconds because you're traveling quite some distance in a few seconds blind.
Tom, you took over from Jack Ickx as Mr. Le Mans. You won 9 times, 2 times of Jos Porsche, once for Bentley, 6 of Audi.
We very kindly, but I will call him Monsieur Le Mans, and then you then I'm very, very privileged if you call me Mr. Le Mans. We sort of agreed on that, and I would like it to stay like this.
Well, of course, the Vikings came down here to Normandy 1,000 years ago and created havoc, and here you were. So the question people keep asking us, Tom, did you ever dream of maybe winning Le Mans 10 times rather than 9?
I think when you commit for Le Mans, and we did in 14 after winning with Duval and Magnish in the e-tron, in 13 with, you know, before the new regulation, that was really a great win, which we didn't celebrate in the manner we could due to the circumstances of that race. In 14, with the new car, the new sort of all the things which is developing further at these days with the hybrid cars and with the narrow tires, with a little bit higher cockpit, all these things, and with the discipline of saving even more energy and going even faster. That was a great challenge, and I think if we had won that race and we were leading at lunchtime on Sunday, until we unfortunately had to change the turbo, at that time I had a little thought of that as well. But it is very important when you go into a race that you put these things away, particularly as you never win anything alone. It's like I've said in the nice teasers I have been asked to make with Eurosport. I have been very privileged to do that, but that is it's about we. It's not about me, and there's no I in team. And basically it's very important that you don't think about personal ambitions to you trying to make 10. But I had the chance after winning the 9th and 13, and I did one more in 14.
Yep.
It didn't materialize, and absolutely you have to look Le Mans from such a broad picture, from within the team, from the driver. So I certainly tried, and I had a thought of it.
Mark and I have been following you for quite some time. We used to call your races on DTM. I think we spoke about that before we got out on track. You see some of the difficulties here, which I'm sure you don't miss. Not that this was a bit of bad luck, incidentally, by the way. Some fluid apparently had been dropped just before the 89 car met this barrier. You've given an awful lot of yourself to motorsport, and it's lovely that you are continuing with, albeit an ambassadorial role, but still in a very, very active one. And when it comes to the media as well, it's been a privilege to have you on board, actually. You mentioned that rather modestly the little teasers that you've been doing, but they look absolutely super. And Mark, I think we need to start worrying. This man could be taken out.
No, it's getting too good.
He's making a habit of it.
No, I'm a rookie.
Yeah, but Tom, today on the grid, we were so impressed. You really earned your money in the rain. That was something.
If you're not Brad Pitt, what did the rest of it say?
Don't bother
coming in, and that was on the door to Lina's car, I believe. But to Lina's cabin. I told her this morning that I had the privilege of sitting next to him yesterday night, and she just looked at me.
Not talking to you anymore.
No. It is amazing how Tom, incidentally, for those of you at home, is immensely at home here. Maybe that seems like a silly thing to say, but Tom, you seem inordinately relaxed, but I suspect even as the race was starting, you still got the old feelings back. That old predator started to kick up again.
No, sure. I mean, I envy the people going into the race, but that's the time when the feelings take over and you sort of leave the brains behind. So for sure at that time I am very passionate, and I would love to go in and have a go.
Here we are, Mark. Audi is in, and just checking out where we are position-wise. There we are.
It's Ollie Jarvis in at the moment.
There we are. Yes, you have to ride your fortune. You know all about that, Tom. It's not just about driving, it's not just about the skill and indeed the backup, but you get a certain degree of fortune here, and you've got to ride your bad luck as well as enjoy the good fortune.
Oh yes, I mean, they have to take advantage of the situation all the time. Strategy changes, like now. I obviously take a stop and under a slow zone, especially when the slow zone goes up through the pit lane. So in a way, that's a gain, depending how much fuel he had on board. Probably not a lot. So I think things like that is always be alert at Le Mans, and at the same time, it is very much a sprint race, but you always have to give yourself an opportunity to say, oof, I might leave a few tenths here, not because it's very bad to lose the car just because you want to gain a few tenths, and you might go off and lose, yeah, a heck lot more.
Sometimes less is more, essentially. Yeah.
Tom, Carlton just mentioned your ambassador role with Audi now, and of course you share that with your old crew, with Alan McNish and with Dindo Capello. Must be fantastic, the three of you still having another life after racing like that.
It's really fantastic, and that's a privilege of working obviously for the best manufacturer in the world as we find it. And you can even add to that Bila, Piro and Marco Werner, we met at on Wednesday morning in the city center at the square, you know, where the handprints are, and looked at lap back at old times, and we call it Club de Retraite, and that was pretty nice. And of course it's good to come here. We still and will forever love the race.
Just one last question. It's a conundrum for Audi. 13 lap stints, Toyota managing 14. How are they going to, what's the master plan essentially with one car in the position that it's in?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, there's no doubt about it. Particularly that we cannot do the same laps can be pretty deciding, as you definitely have to go faster than we do now in that sense. So yes, but Le Mans is all about the night, so you have to see how the car gets in and which rhythm you get in at night with probably another Michelin rubber compound. There's a lot of time I would say, to be gained during the night, if you look at it positively. On the other side, you can also say you could lose a lot of night. So hopefully that will work in the Audi car 8's favor, because that's the only car that is in the mix at the very front at the moment. But at the moment they're doing a steady job, and I think they will gain a little bit with the slow zone. You see when they release that. Now you see the Porsche is in as well. The leading
but
Porsche.
Tom, the other Audi you can still use for data. You're still data gathering all the time, eh?
Yeah, yes, there's no doubt. But you can't now. They can't have any slip.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
But Audi has always loved a challenge, and you have it here.
Yeah, you only need one car to win for sure.
Yeah.
But there's no doubt that the tension and the focus is very, very high and intense.
Thanks to Tom Christensen. Been a privilege. Welcome back. Slow zones, 2 of them now on course, and apparently it is due to fluid, which has been causing some sticky moments out there. Great to hear from Tom Christensen, the man, of course, here, an enormous presence, and I don't know how he manages to walk around. I think he must have a false nose, spectacles and moustache, because he can't walk 10 paces without the selfie mob grabbing him. So he does have minders around him, so it was nice of them to share him with us.
Are you calling him Groucho?
no, he was fantastic. Yeah, he's seeming amazingly relaxed, but I know at the top of the race, the nerves, as he mentioned, just kick in. He has that natural sense that the race is about to begin. He also, Damien, knows that it's going to be a tough haul, this, for Audi, quite clearly.
The tweets are coming through already. Great to hear Tom reminiscing about what he's done, and thank you for answering a question.
Damien, you're sounding just like Mark Cole.
He didn't go for number 10. I know that was something, wasn't it? A few things here as well. Happy you're all enjoying yourselves at Le Mans. There's 24 hours of Le Mans. Great commentary, guys. Keep it up. Thank you to all of you. You make our weekend. Who needs Formula One?
Formula what? Yeah, back to Tom Christensen.
Yeah, let's give him a go, shall we? Go on.
Yeah, I mean, what, 9-time winner?
9.
I'm sure he can offer a little bit more than just support from this side of the fence. And yeah, I mean, what can you say about Tom Christensen? He's probably one of the greatest drivers of all time, isn't he?
I know.
Not just in sports cars, and
he was
drivers.
And he was my driver yesterday.
He was your chauffeur. Yeah. In your mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Chauffeur.
In my mind, it was quite outstanding. Yes, for those of you who don't know, I was given the absolute privilege of being taken around on a lap, a pace lap in the pace car. It was the new TT RS 5-cylinder, absolutely remarkable. They managed to squeeze 450 horsepower out of it, and I think Tom used every single one of them, to be honest. He was not sparing them.
Well, he needed to, didn't he, Damien, with the Carlton on board?
Well,
how absolutely cheeky.
Were they still underweight?
Right, here we are.
It wasn't a balance, I can tell you.
Porsche in. This is the Mark Lieb car, number 2 car, which at the moment is was lying third when it came into the pits. There's the number 5 Toyota of Ant Davidson. It's the one that hasn't been leading the race. Kobayashi is doing that at the moment in the number 6 car, and they're still continuing to pile on that extra lap at every time. And I'm sure Jeremy Shaw later will be able to tell us what that might translate into if they can have an extra lap of fuel over 24 hours.
Damien, Tom was saying when I mentioned it, it was quite simply just a real tough challenge. The eyes went down, the shoulders just slooped ever so slightly. It could be huge.
Is this driving you around yesterday?
No,
the
just now. He was busy chatting to us while you were having a digestive. Meanwhile, downstairs, John Dodd is still, for the time being, circulating.
Yep. So Jeremy's just actually replied to my question. 2 fewer stops.
There we are.
At the end of the race, which is going to mean a huge amount, because the way to win Le Mans is make the least and the shortest time in the pits, isn't it?
Time in the pits, that's what they work off. All of these teams, that's what they work off. That is the barometer. If they can, the car with because the performance of these cars are so close, all of them, all right throughout the whole field. Even in GT Pro now, with the Fords getting a big cut yesterday. But yeah, so it's time in the pits that has to be absolutely limited, and that's what they measure.
Now, we haven't talked much about AM lately. Joe Matthias is leading for Porsche at the moment from David Heinemar Hansen for Porsche, but in 3rd place is the Aston Martin of Matthias Lauda, and in 4th is that old warhorse, the Labra Chevrolet Corvette, which Jean-Christophe Belloc is on board at the moment. The story behind that, for those who don't know, Paolo Uduberti, who should have been on that car, and he drives it in the WEC, was injured at Hockenheim 2 weeks ago in a driver training accident. He was doing driver tuition. He took over that, and Paul Sutcliffe, who is the press officer for the Sean Edwards Foundation, just asked if we could mention that you know, when racing drivers do get hurt like that, you know, it's outside your normal sphere of racing. It does happen. And Sean, you remember, was killed in Australia in doing testing with a driver tuition.
Driver coaching, yeah.
Yeah. His mother Daphne then started the Sean Edwards Foundation in 2013, and that's growing and growing and growing. And at Le Mans this year, drivers who are ambassadors for that are Brendan Hartley, Sam Bird, Rennie Rast, Andy Priaulx, Earl Bamber, Khaled Al-Kubasi, and both his daughters, Amma and Hamda, who race, of course. And so it's just to say, just remember the Sean Edwards Foundation, a very, very worthy cause.
We're just homing in on the Fords here, that are doing a fantastic job. They had a hiccup at the beginning, Damon. They've still got 3 extremely active cars going at the moment, led at the moment by the Ferrari, the Pro Class, by the way. But John Hand is at hand, as you can see, on the 68 car, just second for the time being, ahead of Ryan Briscoe in the 69. I'm just looking for a little bit further down for the next of the Fords, and it's Stefan Mucker who's on board the 66, running 4th in class. So 3 in the top 4. Job done so far for Ford, I think.
I think so. I think they'll be a little bit concerned with the gearbox issue they had at the beginning of the race, actually. I don't know if they've had that before, or if that was an ongoing problem. Obviously sorted, but yeah, doing well. Just sitting there. That's all they need to do at the moment. They showed fantastic pace, of course, in qualifying, and you know, they just they're in a battle with Ferrari, and it's very, very close, isn't it? But they're doing mightily well, I think. I think reliability will be their biggest issue.
Those looking at the timing screens will notice that we've knocked back about 22 seconds. The reason is we've had a couple of slow zones out there, and so things have, pace-wise, have knocked back just a little. We've had some exceptionally quick laps, and of course, I think we may well get quite a few more. The way things are going at the moment, this track virtually dry in all areas, including those in the rumble strips, the little pans that collect water. Just most places, thankfully, now ready to go racing, and that's exactly what we're doing.
And of course, as we get to night, Damien, we get the cooler, denser air, and that's going to suit all the turbo cars, which include not only the hybrids, but the Fords and Ferraris in GT Pro.
That's right, and indeed not even just the turbo cars, but the normally aspirated cars as well. Love the dry, cool air. So, and as we look out of our commentary box here at the moment, we can see the rain in the water pools lying in the inside of the Ford.
28 car taking itself a spin, another pirouette. We've seen a few of them, to be honest. And in fact, I'm not sure if it's Ms. Tattinger, who's had a couple yesterday. Is it her?
I don't know if she's on board at the moment. Oh, that was a close one, wasn't it? Nearly collecting the...
Well, there we are. It's the Pegasus racing machine. I think they had 3 spins up to today. Let's just see who indeed is on board that car. I don't want to besmirch anybody's. And it is Monsieur Streibig. There we are, taking a big stride, I'm afraid, but the wrong way. It was more of a waltz than a cha-cha. Here we go then. There's the Dempsey car as well that looked extremely lively. What's your opinions of the Porsche GTs? Very much at the end of their development, shall we put it. Going to be changed next year, but I'm going to miss them.
Well, yeah, they are. Well, in terms of their competitiveness in this race, I mean, they were absolutely nowhere in qualifying like the Corvettes. What were they? 4 seconds plus off, I think. Of course, there was a balanced performance adjustment just yesterday, with including weight, including more fuel.
It went their way.
Restrictors. It did. It did. It went away from Ford a little bit, away from Ferrari a little bit, and it went with Corvette and Porsche a little bit. And I mean, they're there, aren't they? They're there or thereabouts. Although I still think the straight line speed of the Ford is going to that's going to be tough to beat. I think the rate shootout.
Sorry, Damien, I just kind of feel that if you're at the end of your development, it's an advantage if it's a race of attrition. It certainly seems to be that way when you've got mixed conditions. You kind of are set in your mind to handle just about everything out there. It's not that you need to really worry about conditions, because you know what you've got to do to dial into the car. It's not a mystery, is what I'm trying to say.
No, absolutely, and Porsches are normally bulletproof, but we saw one of them already in for a radiator change. We're not sure what happened. We're going to go to the pits for an interview.
David Sims.
Beaky Sims is waiting with Liz.
Yes, David, things are looking really good at the moment. Are you concerned at all?
No, at the moment, everything is working to plan regarding tyres, fuel, and the pace. And so we can double stint the tyres, and the driver's very happy with the setup. So at the moment, it's looking very positive.
So it's obviously a good setup for the dry. Are you afraid of the rain in any way? Is the setup for the rain all right as well?
Absolutely, yeah. It's qualifying in the testing here. It rained every day, so we got a really good setup for both dry.
Very good.
So Biki Sinza, of course, who is very heavily involved in the Ferrari. Been long involved in this.
Not going to be pleasant.
No, it looked like he was just sat there with no damage, but he's going to have a little bit of damage, I think.
Remy Steinberg, of course, he in Morgan as a partnership with the Morgan Motor Company, and this is the last year we will see these, of course, open exist after this year.
We're just seeing a great shot, onboard shot here of the Ford of Joey Hand up against the Ferrari of Tony Vilander in front of him.
For the lead of the class, and it's a feisty one, as you can see. Great that the lights are starting to flare here, the sun getting to its lowest, the insect life will start to make itself felt as well, as they particularly through some of the woodland areas. Oh, and a cheeky little maneuver just ahead of the pit box on the entry. The backseat DC Racing Alpine was caught up just behind the 28 Pegasus that had just spun and got front end damage as they came past our commentary position. Little squirt to get into the pit area, and it may be that backseat DC Racing have just hampered themselves, because I cannot believe they shed the speed enough to match the pit lane limit. And so it may well be that backseat DC Racing unfortunately picked themselves up a bit of a penalty in their haste to get around the returning Pegasus Racing 28 car that just spun and had some damage.
But look at this battle, isn't this fantastic, Damien? I mean, we have got such a fight on our hands at the moment. 3 cars for
mainly because of a light fuel load, Damon. He stayed on board the car.
The Ford have said a little bit on he's between the two Fords. The three lights on in the second Ford just there, the 69 of I think that's Westbrook's teammate, right, Joey?
It is, Mark, as
right,
always.
Sorry, I beg your pardon.
Quite often GT, and that's what we've got right now.
Yeah, we make the point, don't we, every year that this is the equivalent of 16 grand in the F word, 16 grand. Well,
Make for some lovely pictures, don't they?
So they do. Shadow's getting extremely long at the moment. It's 19 hours and 25 minutes to go here, and this is how it stacks up in GTM, Mark.
Right, so it's David Heinemeier Hansen at the moment out front in the Proton Porsche there from Leo Kamatias. He's in that Porsche Aston Martin, that category. More or less the way they started this race, but it's looking in the Chevrolet. So we've got Porsche, Aston Martin and Chevrolet, the top four in that category.
Flag base.
Amateurs is in each of these classes. Further back here, certainly in the GTs. So careful about when they choose to make an overtake.
The car in a class of its own, the 84 car, is coming in. Bouvet is joining us in just a few moments' time on pit row. Waiting to see whether Freddie Sarthe is going in. Close moment, Mark.
Yeah, the Ferrari just knocking the Corvette offline and almost into the wall there at Arnage. I hope we'll see that in a moment. There's just such a big combination of cars that there's just nowhere for the Corvette to go. Let's wait and see the replay on that. Did you spot that, Damien?
Actually, I was just looking to my right to the other time screen and I didn't, but I see the Murphy prototype. That's Mark Goossens at the wheel there, passing both of them get into the Porsche curves.
Freddie Sarthe, incidentally, has already done a stint in the SRT 41 by Oak Racing. It's the Garage 56 entry. Yes, I know there are 60 cars, but there used to be 55. We called the 56 essentially the development car. That is tight. Oh my goodness, that is tight. What a battle we've got here. And maybe spearing through the middle is the Ford, not quite making it. Joey Hand at the moment on board the Ford, Violander in the Ferrari, and what a battle we've got raging here.
Yeah, that was, Tony Violander pulled a move there that you would see the prototypes pulling on the GTs, and he did that on one of the AM Ferraris. Very brave, and he's gotten away with it.
Have a look at this. This is what we just saw down at Indianapolis. Look, bundles the Corvette off the road with the Ferrari. There was contact there.
Is that the Briscoe car just tracing at the moment? I think they're a lap down on our leader, Joey Hand, for the time being, but here we are. There is the move through.
Yeah, what he was trying to do was not pinch his entry there to get his exit from Arnage, obviously, to the Porsche curves, which is a great big long run. So what Tony Violander was trying to do was get back out to take his good line to get a good exit.
Yeah, and that was Joe Kamatias he bundled off the road there, who is lying second at the moment in the AM class. That's not the Labra Corvette, it's the other Corvette that's running there, the I'm just trying to find where it is.
And you can see the performance difference as well between the pros and the AMs here. They've left them clean behind, albeit these are the leaders in their own class, of course, or second and third. The battle for second at the moment being held by Ferrari. They are way down on Joey Hand for the time being. But Briscoe has a look, comes out into the air right now, and it looks like he's got this. They were trying to dial out some of the advantage of the Fords. It seems that Ferraris also had a perceived advantage over the Corvettes and indeed the Porsches. But there's no doubt that Ford have come here to win. They've brought 4 cars. One of them has been hobbled, but they are now in Ps 1 and 2, and this is the reason.
Yeah, I think they nipped them. They didn't exactly snip them, did they? I think that's what they possibly
the
would
term.
have needed to have done.
Well, they added a little snip.
They added a little bit of weight. They added actually more weight to the Ferrari, 5 kilos more to the Ferrari than they did the Ford, and then they interfered a little bit with the turbo boost.
Snip, like a girl guide fight.
Just a nip, not a snip.
We can't let this pass. The McLaren that won here in 1995, which was run by Dave Price, was sponsored by Ueno Clinic in Tokyo, which was a vasectomy clinic, and the team christened the car Snippet.
Moving on. Here is your GT Pro classification. If you'd like to respond to Mark Cole, he's now available on Twitter, having got rid of the cup and string communications device, which it's not there.
I think I still prefer the pigeon, though.
Yes, indeed.
It's a bit
Remind
quicker.
everyone, Mark, briefly what your new handle is, please.
At Mark Cole Comms with 1S.
Welcome to Twitter, Mummy. Welcome to Twitter.
Thank you.
Been trying to 5 years now.
And Damien Faulkner is also available.
I am. At Damien Faulkner. Damien with an E.
And myself.
You say Faulkner with a K, is it?
It is in there, which was a hunter, wasn't it? A fauconnier is the
absolutely
is the francophonic version of it. And I'm Carlton Kirby.
You heard it. Is available, guys. So, right, air temperature 18 degrees, track temperatures up to 23 now, 14.5 kilometre wind there. You can see it puffing up the flags there down under the ACO Siège Social.
I'm pretty sure my wife is listening to this right now.
Yeah, I have no idea what is going on in Mark's mind. You didn't know anything.
You said it was boring.
What's your Mrs. called?
I'm in it, isn't man? Laura.
Taken here, and Aston Martin who've got a performance advantage, but there's one way to shed speed, and that's
Here it is again.
staying there for some.
Yeah, that's the third place car in AM, of course.
Yeah, that's the exit of the Porsche curbs there. He just pushed a little bit wide, and then he just chose to sort of... There's not a lot of grip beyond the curb, so he just chose to run it straight through the gravel. And fortunately for him, made it out the other end.
Right, we've got some news, Guy, why the 91 Porsche dropped back. I don't know if it was told earlier before we came on air, but stone through the radiator, which dropped it down to 12th in GT Pro. That's the reason that car lost time in the pits.
I mean, obviously the radiator has to get some air channel to it, right? Cooled by the air.
And the speeds that they fly stone can be at bullet pace, really.
Well, of course, and you see so many of these guys going off track. There's so many cars
Toyota Rebellion. So, top 5 potentially for Rebellion. They may even go all the way and bag themselves a podium spot. Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see.
They've had 2 this year already. Oh, yeah.
In terms of the speed trap.
Straight line top speed, yeah.
Exactly. Explain why, David.
Because, well, they've got a certain amount of power. It's something like, what is it, 600 to 700 brake horsepower? The LMP1s with the hybrid technology have about 500 plus, and then plus the hybrid technology, which and Porsche, I'm sorry, Toyota and Porsche, Audi have 6 megajoules to use in the course of a lap. So they use that coming out of a slow corner, for example, let's say the first chicane. They have 1,000 brake horsepower for a few seconds that builds up to top speed really quickly, really early in the straight, and then when the boost drops off, the car basically stalls, so it reaches 200 and something odd miles an hour really quickly on the straight, then it stalls, and from there to the next corner it actually loses a few kilometers per hour, whereas the P1 without the hybrid accelerates all the way.
Almost linear, so it's more predictable. The LMP1 non-hybrid, it's Kryhammer that's on board the Rebellion at the moment. This is the 2 Porsche we're riding with right now, with Mark Lieb piloting it, and you might get a sense of it right now. It certainly is confusing, particularly to the P2 guys, who are never quite sure at what phase, Mark, of the retrieval, indeed the boost, the P1 hybrids are at, because when they lose the hybrid drive, they're the same power as a P2 car.
Yeah, and of course the other thing that you haven't mentioned is the Rebellions are that much lighter. They're 20 kilos lighter than the hybrid cars. That's equivalent to carrying a Cocker Spaniel on board the car alongside you. And
Mark has a Cocker Spaniel.
Yeah, who weighs 20 kilos. So to me, that's a very good way of judging these guys. Quite a big Cocker Spaniel. But anyway, the whole point is that these revs are also super slippery, aren't they? And as you've correctly pointed out, Damien, with me, they're turning in 323 kilometers an hour at this moment, which is faster than anyone else out there going through the Indianapolis speed trap.
If there is a performance penalty, do you have to swap it for a Jack Russell?
I don't know. He's not a hybrid.
I think doesn't Jordan Taylor have his Fonzie on board the Corvette?
He does carry him around. I saw Wayne and Shirley this morning and said, "Is the dog here?" And they said, "Yep."
There we are. 19 hours and 10 minutes remaining. We're already getting rather duel-ally. I can imagine as well that some of those on board some of these quick machines. This is our leader at the moment, by the way. It's Mark Webber. General good guy. He's got the proper hero chin to go with it.
Carrying this, and he's just done actually the fastest first sector. That's the second time he's done that in the last 3 laps, actually. So
right, watch him. I think this is going to be your lap record. Sorry, not lap record. Fastest lap for the race so far. On board with Webber, flying through. Oh, hampered in sector 2, but still 3 seconds quicker than Anthony Davidson's Toyota, just for the time through 2. That's Anthony's last lap. We don't know what phase he's on or what fuel load it is. We'll keep tabs on Mr. Webber while we just go down to the pits.
John, to us, things are looking very well for you. Anything you could complain about that we don't see?
No, for the moment it's going quite to plan. I mean, we had only one extra stop at car 5, you might have seen. We had a tire change done, but the tires were vibrating too much, so we had to do another stop. But for the rest, it's going like planned.
So both setups are working well, or do you think it would be a bit worse if you get another rain shower?
No, I think our setup fits for both conditions very well.
Thank you very much, John. Thanks.
Well, that was the battle for the lead in P2, and I'm afraid coming off worse, the 44 car. Rao, they probably have one, but he's on board.
Yeah, Matthew Rao, Londoner, of course. He's a debutant here. Came out of British Formula 3, was vice champion in 2014. No connection, isn't he, with Rao's, which is one of those famous New York restaurants. It's an Italian family. He's an old English family.
Mark bidding for a freebie. Damon, yet more attrition. We're going to see more of this.
Yeah, that's the 86 car, golf racing car. I know Ben Barker was on board there earlier. I think that's Michael Wainwright, the team owner, that's on board there right now.
Mike Wainwright out to the British GT Championship. Adam Carroll, of course, the other driver along with him and Ben, having trouble restarting that car down at the first chicane.
Fastest lap, told you. Mark Webber, he may have not fastest through sectors 2 and 3, and he's going to be hampered now due to the yellow, but a 3:21.8. He's going.
He is indeed. Quickly. And Mark, of course, coming here as reigning world champion, and he just wants this Le Mans win. This is what he really wants on his CV.
Yeah, he knows all about fastest laps, doesn't he? With Vettel. Vettel used to always get them all, didn't he? I think. So, yeah, nice to get that. That was a pretty unique traffic-free lap at this stage, wasn't it?
So on board with the 2 car at the moment, Mark Lieb running in 4th place, and why not have just a waspish slow-mo?
Yeah, that's fascinating, isn't it? Feature blade helicopter.
How's that staying up?
That is the biggest drone I've ever seen.
They thought about drones and then they thought again, especially after some of the drone incidents that have actually dogged us. You know that years ago, for NASCAR, they actually hired the world champion remote control helicopter pilot and actually flew a rather large camera in those days on the opposite way round. I think it was the start of Daytona. Then the insurance men got involved and said, "You've got to be kidding," and that was the end of that. And in fact, they were right, those insurance men. You've seen various drone incidents. You just go on YouTube or any other video provider, then you will find that there are plenty of incidents, which means they are pretty dangerous. It's battery life, essentially. That is the problem. They basically can't stay up for terribly long. They get out of range, they get themselves into trouble, and which is why some of our swooping shots down the pit road, incidentally, are all on cables. They're guided.
I've got one that's got a return to home mode on it, so it will come back to you.
What, even if the battery, what is it, thumbs are lifted if the battery's down, does it?
Track's gone completely green again to double yellow. Zone 11 has now gone, and just they're so pleased with themselves. The director, they're showing it again, Carlton. They're obviously following every word you say. Mark Webber then leading overall, having just set fastest lap of the race so far, a 3:21. It's Hirakawa-san for Eureka leading LMP2. It's Jerry Han for Ford leading GTE Pro, and David Heinemar Hansen changed from Aston Martin, of course, to Porsche leading GT Am.
Lights are flaring. It's getting dark.
It is. It's getting dark. It's getting a little bit cooler, isn't it? And
cooler, quicker, everything.
The track is rubbering up nicely, isn't it?
Well, here we are with Mark Lieb, he's after bragging rights because Webber is, well, he's nailed it with a 3:21.8. We said it was going to get quicker. Explain.
Yeah, because well, for starters, it rained at the start of the race, so that washed all the rubber away, and now it's been dry since then for a good few hours, thankfully. So
temperature-wise, it helps, doesn't it?
Temperature-wise, it helps as well, but I mean, a lot more rubber on track will help a lot of grip as well. But the engines breathe much more effectively, if you like, and burn fuel more effectively when it's nice and cold, and so we'll see faster laps in this, I'm sure.
Here's Ollie Jarvis being hampered by Lieb at the moment, on board with Lieb as he approaches, and Jarvis tries to make good his escape, passing by one of the Fords by the looks of things. Track limits are being almost issued warnings-wise as a constant. Once, okay, twice, starting to think about it, 3 times Marshall's starting to report you, and after that you could soon find yourself on the naughty step, Mark.
Well, we're told that if you do it twice, having been warned twice, 3rd time you're in the pits, and that's it. So Mark Webber and in the 7 car further down, Marcel Fassler. I think we're just waiting for Marcel Fassler to come into the pits, because the Audi mechanics were getting ready down there. Ollie Jarvis made his stop while Tom Walkinshaw was us, so unless he's got a problem, he should be coming. In fact, which car is that?
That's just Collie Jarvis in the number 8 Audi.
Why is he back in so quickly?
The Ford big slew on the 68 as he tried to shed the speed into the trap, which checks the entry speed into the pit lane. Not sure whether he got there.